All the excitement of horse racing, the stories along the backside, expert analysis of the big race. This is Inside Track, presented by the Fairgrounds Racecourse and Slots. And here's your host of Inside Track, Charlie Ricks and Bernie Halprin.
Let's bring in one of the other top trainers here at the Fairgrounds. He's number 2 in the standings, but it's an early meet. Ron Faucheux, welcome to Inside Track, bud.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Now, the more notable horse that you train that everyone knows is the horse Sunbeam. Became a millionaire recently. He won the Louisiana Champions Day Classic, $150,000 purse. Won the Delta Mile, a $250,000 purse. This horse must be pretty special.
Yeah, he is. You know, he's a horse that, you know, you wake up in the morning and it's just a pleasure to be around him every day. He does everything right. He's just, you know, he's easy to train. He's a trainer's dream, really. You know, he's always sharp. He doesn't ever have a bad day. You know, he's always on his A game. So, you know, to have a Louisiana bred make $1 million at the age of 4, it's pretty special.
Well, yeah, and you know, with Sunbeam, you're with Evelyn Benoit, you're with Britland Stables, and as a young trainer, man, what a nice situation to be training for Miss Benoit.
Yeah, she's awesome. I mean, you know, to train for her, you know, I mean, she's, you know, I'll go ahead and say it. I mean, she's the best owner in the business. You know, I mean, she, you know, she puts everything into it. You know, and she really has a strong knowledge of it. You know, she's really a horseman herself, and which makes it easy for you as a trainer. You know, she understands the daily decisions you have to make. You know, there's so many highs and so many lows in this business, and you know, to train for an owner that really understands it, it's just a pleasure. It's
what she does, and I've talked about this before. The first thing she thinks about when she wakes up in the morning and opens her eyes, and the last thing she thinks about at night before she closes her eyes is her stable. And when you have an owner like that that's that passionate, and in addition, she's so first class, the horse is going to get the best of everything. It's no surprise to me, Charlie, that every time I see Britland Stables put one on the track, they look like $1 million.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I mean, she doesn't hold back. I mean, she wants the best care, best treatment for her horses, and you know, we're able to you know, fulfill that need. And you know, you see it in the way they run. I mean, you know, the way she breeds, she's really conscientious how she breeds her mares, and you know, it just it all works out. You know.
Well, how excited are you about Star Guitar being at stud? And the brood mares that Evelyn has got that she's leading up to him. She really, you talk about her being a smart horsewoman, and she really, truly is. She knew that she wanted to invest some money in the mares. You got to just be tickled to death and really just coming out of your skin thinking about what these horses are going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was up there with her, you know, picking out some mares several years ago, and you know, some of the mares dropped some foals now. They're currently 2. You know, we have a Distorted Humor out of a mare named Persuading, a graded stake winner, and you know, I could go on and on, but you know, yeah, I mean, it's exciting. You know, Star Guitar, how accomplished he was on the track, and you know, he's a beautiful horse. I mean, I think he's thrown really nice looking babies, and I think it should work out. I really think he'll be a success at stud.
Ron, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but down the road for Sunbeam, you know, you tried the New Orleans Handicap before. Is that a possibility in March? I know obviously it's easier when in a Louisiana bred, like a restricted race like that, because he's so good in those races. He's so good at the fairgrounds. Are you guys considering that, or where does Sunbeam go from here?
Well, we're not going to throw it out. I think Sunbeam runs his best races usually at 1 mile to 1 1/16. You know, when he gets that good clean break, unlike Champions Day where he had to make up all that ground going 1 1/8. But you know, when he gets a good clean break and sits and stalks the pace, you know, going 1 mile, I think he's deadly. I mean, you know, we haven't really had the chance to run him 1 mile at the fairgrounds, but at Delta, Evangeline, you know, I mean, you know, he's one of the best around, I believe. So, Going into our next start, we're going to run a premiere night at Delta Downs. It's a $200,000 race, going a mile and a 16th, which he's undefeated at that racetrack. And we'll just take it after that and see where we'd like to go. We have options, the Mon Shaft, the Star Guitar, like you said, the New Orleans Handicap. So we'll just see what happens.
We're visiting with Ron Faucheux, one of the top trainers here at the fairgrounds. Wins 25% of his races, Mitch. You need to pay attention to that. He's in the money about 53% of the time, so if you come out here to the fairgrounds today, he does have one horse in today. It's a first-time starter in the 9th race, the 5-horse Big Peps. And we were talking about putting a jockey on a horse to fit a horse. How do you select, or when you put a horse for its first time on the racetrack, how do you select that race? What are you looking for?
Well, you look at pedigree, you look at the way the horse is training, and you just try to put it all together. This certain horse, he seems more of a sprinter, so that's where we're going to start him first time out. He not trying to tout a first-time starter or anything, but I think he's got a slight chance today. I mean, he's sharp, he breaks clear. He'll be forwardly placed, hopefully. The 6 furlongs is a little bit of a concern first time out. He seems to get a little heavy galloping out in his workouts, but we'll see how it works out.
Now, we talked earlier about trainers selecting jockeys, and typically a trainer will have a jockey that they say first call, which is your go-to jockey. Your go-to jockey on Sunbeam, Richard Aramia, sustained an injury recently. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, he did. I spoke to him last week. Hopefully he will be back into January. He should be back for Sunbeam's next mount. Selecting jockeys, this meet, it's been, I've been all over the place, really, because, Richard Aramia has been my main guy. Rick Mocklin, who's his agent, also had a bug boy, Andre Ramjeet, that I was using pretty consistently, and both of them are injured. So I've been going to a bunch of different jockeys that normally I hadn't used in the past. But, Richard Aramia is really my main guy. I use him about 80–90% of the time. He's a year-round rider in Louisiana, and I think he's one of the best jockeys around. I think he could ride anywhere if he decided to. But, he, like myself, I mean, we're comfortable in this state. This is where, all of our business is, and this is where we'd like to remain.
You on Champions Day, with Aramia being on the shelf, you ended up backing into a pretty good replacement, Corey Lannery. And, for what happened that day to Sunbeam, breaking a little sluggishly, I think he scraped the gate a little bit coming out. Certainly wasn't his typical break run. You couldn't have asked for a better, more patient guy to not panic than Corey.
Yeah, absolutely. Corey did everything right that race. After the break, I mean, that's what you want, a veteran rider that's not going to rush a horse up going a mile and 1/8, just tuck in wherever he fits, save horse for the finish, and that's what he did. One of Sunbeam's, races that wasn't too good for us was a race at Remington Park where it was kind of the same thing. He broke last, and he was rushed up early, and he didn't have that final kick. We know now, thoroughbreds are always finding new things about him. That's how you have to ride him. If for some reason he misses the gate, you just be patient with him, and he should still fire wherever he's at.
Yeah, I told Evelyn after the race that what he did that day was he just exuded class. He was better than the other 5 rivals, and that's why Corey didn't panic. If it was a situation where Corey didn't think he was sitting on much the best, he might have tried a different tactic. But he was like, we still got this.
Right. No, I agree completely.
Hey, Ron, are you happy with the way, we got 3 Starlight Racings coming up, which is obviously to try to get new people involved with horse racing, to get more people in the industry. Also with the changes that have been made, which I think have been great, with the in the infield as well as the paddock with those video screens, and the turf so far has been pretty good. Are you happy with everything that's gone on this year at the meet?
I am. There has been a lot of improvements this meet. you know, the Starlight Racing, I think it's great. You know, I'm born and raised in New Orleans, and, you know, on a daily basis you see your regulars, but on those Friday night races, I mean, I see people that I hadn't seen in years, I went to high school with, and they're normally not out here. So you know, it's a way to get younger people into it, and, you know, hopefully they catch on. I mean, you know, the fairgrounds, there's so many great storylines between the jockeys and the trainers and the horses and the owners, and you know, I think the more and more they you know, come out and experience it, I think the more and more they'll catch on, and you know, I'm pleased with it.
Yeah, you know, it seems like the reviews, Charlie, so far for the turf course in particular have been excellent, and it hasn't been all smooth sailing. There was a lot of rain here for a week or so, and they were able to get races, Ron, back on the turf within a day or two being off the turf. They listed it as yielding one day, and then the very next day it was firm, and there was no, you know, you didn't see anything as far as, God forbid, catastrophic injuries or anything.
Right, yeah, there's no question. I mean, the turf course is much better this year than the previous 2 or 3 years. You know, for whatever reason, it's, you know, I'm no expert in that. You know, I know that they changed some of the drainage, and but no, it's been good. You know, to enter horses in turf races, and you know, if there is rain, you know, in the upcoming days, you know, there's still a chance that you'll still be on the turf. Normally in years past it was automatic, they'd take it off. So
right,
it's been good. It's been good this year.
We're here with Ron Faucheux, trainer here at the fairgrounds. And Ron, let's get to know you a little bit better. Your mother, Sally, I believe, is married to Albert Stahl.
No, that is incorrect.
Okay. I have the wrong trainer?
No, my mother, Sally's Sally Roussel. She's married to
Louis Roussel. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Let's get that straight.
Yeah.
Okay, we got that straight. So there was a close race, I guess was it last week where you two were duking it out towards the finish line? And so who's your mom, Sally, pulling for there?
It's funny you say that. I got a phone call the next day, and Louis said, Ron, I'm gonna have to leave your mother. I said, what are you talking about, leave my mother? And you know, obviously, you know, Louis, he's always joking around. He said, I'm standing there rooting my horse on, and all of a sudden I hear your mom pulling the horse in front of us. You know, it was my horse, and you know, so we win the race, and Louis ran second, and Neil Pesson was standing there too, and he ran third, and Neil made the remark to Louis. He said, yeah, and Sally was rooting for me to run second, so it was funny.
So your mother, Sally Roussel.
Well, yeah, well, the way it played out, at least your mom, with the men in her life, she hit the exacta.
She did. That's correct.
That's a great point there, Chip.
Yeah, and you know, what you can always tell Louis, you know, what your mom can tell Louis is, I've known Ron longer.
That's it.
All right, Ron, let's put you on the spot here. Look back at your barn on the backside there. Are there any horses that we should be on the lookout for that should be coming out soon?
Yeah, as far as, you know, 2-year-olds that just turned 3, we ran a first-timer recently named Number One Gun. He missed the break. He ran second. He's an arch out of Smitty's Sunshine, who was a champion Louisiana bred. Yeah. You know, we're high on him. You know, we have a horse, the horse Watch My Smoke, that just finished second to Sunbeam last out off of a 1.5-year layoff, going a 1.125 miles. I mean, he's doing really well. We're high on his, you know, return to the races. But you know, we have some good 3-year-olds. You know, we'll just see where, you know, our owners don't rush us. I mean, we try to take our time, keep them sound throughout, and get them there. So you know, we'll see.
How does that work now in the Louisiana Champions Day Classic? You had 2 horses in that race, Sunbeam and Watch My Smoke. How does that work when 2 different owners, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So how does that work when you win with one? How does the other owner feel?
Well, I was the other owner.
Oh, okay.
However, I've never pulled against one of my horses so strongly. I mean, I was pulling for Sunbeam 100%. I mean, there's no question about it.
I was thinking the same thing out there, and Evelyn's thinking ahead. She had the banner ready, and I said, "Boy, good thing Sunbeam got up."
That was a great race too. What a great comeback! With like you said, with a bad start, Sunbeam had to win that race. Showed class, like you said, Bernie, exuded class.
Ron, help us here. We do a little horse racing 101. We try to educate the casual racetrack goer. We see objections. We see inquiries. The stewards may make an inquiry. There's objections by jockeys could happen during the race. A trainer can also make an objection, can't they?
Yes, they can. The trainer, the jockey, or the stewards can take a look at it. You know, normally you want to leave it up to the jockey. I mean, I've made several objections, and they've never ruled in my favor. Usually, most of them were earlier on in my training career. Now I kind of try to just leave it up to the stewards and the jockey, unless it's something obvious that needs to be done.
In the ones where you weren't successful, Ron, did you get slapped with the $50 frivolous objection fine?
No, I never got slapped with the fine. There was a couple cases that were questionable, though.
What did you think about? Because I asked Tom Amos, he was on a few weeks ago, about the Breeders' Cup Classic, on that that controversy with the break with Bayern.
Yeah,
what do you think about that particular race?
Well, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to make a call like that. I mean, how to take down a horse in that kind of race. It's a tough situation. I mean, that's why the stewards are stewards and we're trainers.
Yeah, I think personally. Well, it was, and you know what? He's a trainer. He doesn't want to anger the stewards. But let me say this. All kidding aside, there's been a big push, and there's a lot of sentiment, Ron, for some kind of a nationalized standard for stewards, where it's because what happens is in Chicago. Or in New York, that horse would have come down. He'd have been down in 2 seconds.
Right.
That race was at Santa Anita. Bob Baffert. It's the only big race he's never won. It would have taken blood on the racetrack to pull him down.
Yeah, I mean, well, as a steward, you hope that they're making their decisions on strictly the race itself and not who the trainer or the jockey or the owner is. I think that's important. Just to speak firsthand, the stewards at the fairgrounds, I think, do a really good job, and I think, they are, all very honest and, want to do the right thing. It's the horse, number one. I mean, that's what it comes down to. What's the right thing for the horse, and right,
and endangering the other riders too.
Correct.
I mean, we know spills. Look at Renee Douglas and people like that. Unfortunately, it can be life changing, or Juan Saez, you can lose your life. So the stewards really have to make sure that, and they do a real good job of that actually. Is when there's rough riding or careless riding, they sit those guys down for a couple of weeks and say, watch those tapes.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. And we're here with Ron Faucheux, one of the top trainers at the fairground. His mother is married to Louis Roussel. We did learn that today. At least I did.
It's not Al Stahl. I hope Al Stahl's wife's not listening.
But Ron Faucheux, appreciate it very much. And before